I have right here the new Scarpa F1 XT. Before anyone accuses me of going back to light boots, I want to say that I have not skied this because I don't enjoy skiing light boots that much, and I got it simply as a fitness boot, potential boot if I decided to do, faster, not skiing oriented touring. And I still 1000% do not recommend a boot in this weight class for general touring. This is a very mission specific, race specific, fitness specific tool that is not made to withstand daily aggressive touring. Okay, with that out of the way, we can talk about some of the new features. Most notably, we went from the boa to this more traditional. It's still obviously a little unorthodox, but you have a micro adjust buckle, that you can tighten by turning left or right, and the wire catches it, and you're able to depress it. Um, you're able to see that there actually is a little kind of nub on this piece of plastic that is supposed to catch it. Doesn't always work in practice, so you need to double check to make sure that it's aligned properly. And what that does compared to the boa, especially if you account for these pieces of plastic that overlap, they're quite flexible. They're not rigid, but this does provide better ankle hold down than the previous boa. You also have a nice little cammed power strap that's useful. Everything has got a very quality feel. Compared to the Technica, this thing feels way higher quality. The Technica fits feet well, but it feels cheap. This does not feel like that at all. They changed the lever in the back, and my understanding is that they're actually making this lever and the old lever kind of cross-compatible, just depending on what leans you want. This one provides more aggressive angles. I believe it's 2 degrees more than the previous F1 LT. So my understanding is that this will be able to be swapped onto the F1 LT if you see fit, and vice versa. So if you would like this boot to be more upright, you can swap to the F1 LT's lever and drop the available settings by 2 degrees on this. And off the top of my head, I could be totally wrong, but I believe the F1 LT was 9, 11, and 13 degrees, which would make this 11, 13, and 15. The other main difference is simply that they changed the material of the bottom, or at least they state they do online. My understanding is that this does not have carbon in the lower shell, whereas the original does. It's just fiberglass. And I think in theory that makes this slightly easier to punch. So if you do have problematic feet, you're able to punch it. I will caveat that I've tried to punch it, and it is still very difficult to punch, but at least you can now. You can even see I've already done a little punch myself. Right there, you can make it out subtly on that RMP. You can see the little bulge I put in there. I also put one right there. So that's a little quality of life thing that I think Scarpa did, and it also gives it a lot more of a progressive feeling flex. It's not as initially stiff off the top. I'm a big boy, so I do think that I will actually go. I already have this in the most upright setting, and it's not because I dislike the stance. It's just because I can easily overpower this boot, and so I think I need to go to the shorter lever so that I can get even more upright, so that when I am flexing on the cuff, I'm in a more neutral position instead of way too aggressive because the boot's not supporting me. Because the flex does ramp up as you get deeper into it. Overall, kind of, parts bin engineering from Scarpa. This is not a leap forward from the F1 LT. It's just a slight step up, in my opinion, probably what the F1 LT should have been to begin with. And it presumably, just based off of how I feel about it, trying it on and walking around inside the house, presumably it will ski better than the F1LT, simply because, as you remember from my rant, the BOA is absolute garbage. So this will actually lock some heels down. It's got a real strap up here, and it is punchable, so it will fit more people. And those, I think, were honestly some of my biggest complaints before. So there you have it. F1 XT, very small progression for Scarpa, but it's making a well-regarded boot that I don't think should be well-regarded into a more accessible boot that will ski better. And again, back to my initial disclaimer, in my opinion, these boots aren't made for actual skiing, but for recreational racing, more adventure-related stuff where you're not trying to ski hard and you're just trying to survive, this type of boot is totally acceptable. Here's just a quick flex demonstration. Here I just want to show how sensitive this boot is right off the top. So I'm not even standing. This is just me lifting my foot up like this. And you can see my cuff is tight, that I can already start to flex the shell. Take a look down there.